Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Fanfield Topsy. Please, if you've not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Click the notification button so that you get notified. And please, do give this video a thumbs up if you like the video. Alright, I want to talk about fears. What are your fears? What are my fears? What are you afraid of? Do you sometimes have these wet hands, shaky feet when something is about to happen, or when someone is around you, or when you're about to talk, or when you want to do something and you just start shaking all of a sudden, you don't know how to stop it? Yes, you're afraid of that thing. You are afraid of something. Every one of us have fears. But the truth is, have you identified that your fear? And how can you overcome it? Now today, I want to talk about these fears, some of these fears, and how we can overcome it. Now, for you to be able to overcome fear, you need to identify that fear. That is number one. You identify that fear. What could the fear be of? Are you afraid of your mate? Some persons are afraid of their mates, their husbands, or their wives. Possibly because of one thing or the other. When he's around, or when he shouts, you start shaking. When he's angry, you're afraid. You start, shaky. What? He's a human. It's not good to be afraid like that. Also a human. Are you afraid of your boss? When he's around, you start vibrating, your legs getting wet. What are you afraid of? Identify it. Could it be other things? You're afraid of losing your money. You're afraid of losing your fame. You're afraid that tomorrow people that are talking about me might not talk about me. What I know how to do today, I might lose it tomorrow. Or could it be glossophobic? There is this kind of fear we call glossophobic. That is, a fear of speaking in public. Are you afraid whenever you're called to come out and speak in public? Is it astrophobic? That is a fear of lightning and thunder. You're afraid of anytime you hear lightning, you run. A lot of children are afraid of lightnings, so they are astrophobic. Are you a xenophobic person? Xenophobia? I am. Yes, afraid of dogs. I am afraid of dogs. Yeah, you can have more than one fears. Yes, you can. So when you identify them, classify them, put them in their places, and see how. I'll get to that. Okay, so what kind of fear are you? Are you aquaphobic? Afraid of water? When you get to the beach, you don't want to swim. When you get to a swimming pool, you only touch and toss water, but you will not get into it. You're afraid of water. Are you afraid of heights? Are you afraid of injection? What are you afraid of? When you identify these fears, what am I afraid of? Now you've started. Okay, now number 2 step to overcome a fear is to take them out. At that point when you're that scared, your legs are getting wet, your feet are shivering, your hands are cold, you have to breathe in through that fear. Pause for a moment, breathe in, and see how you can stay still. Stay calm, don't panic, don't show it. Stay calm. At that point when you're afraid, stay calm. Now you also need to face your fear. The more you run away from fear, that thing, the more you run away from it, it gets scarier. You're afraid. Whoever it is, whatever it is, it gets scarier. If it is a dog, the dog sees your eyes that, she's afraid. That fear gets scarier. It keeps chasing you. It knows that, this person is in panic. Yeah, I'm actually talking to myself right now. Okay, so you face it. Yeah, another way to face this fear is If it is a dog, like, you can I promised myself that I'll get a pet dog one day. Someday I will face this fear by getting a pet dog. So if it is fear of swimming, why not try going with someone who knows how to swim and who is gentle? Whatever is that fear, you need to face it, because facing fear helps us and not running away from it. You're afraid of talking out in public. Why not start with an audience of 4? Start with an audience of 10. Start first. Don't run away because you're afraid. Face it. Whatever it is, you have to face it. Now, what could that be? Try to imagine the worst scenario. What could happen? Okay, if I do this, if I pass this place, if I climb this height, what is it? What's the highest thing that could happen? If I am not afraid of this person, what's the highest thing that can happen? If it is my boss, what is the highest thing that can happen? Remember, I am not encouraging anyone to be disrespectful. Attitude matters. You have a boss, you behave well, but don't be afraid of him. You have a husband, you have a wife, don't be afraid of them. But if fear happens, imagine your worst. Imagine what could the worst be like, okay? What is that worst that could happen? Separation, sacking from work, the dog will bite me, I will drown. Imagine, just put the worst scenario in front of you and say, okay, let me hit it. And when you imagine that, it has a way to help you. You limit that fear. You reduce that fear from your mind. It has to do with your psychology. It has to do with yourself. Tell yourself, what is the worst that could happen of this situation? When you imagine it, you face it confidently. Now, you also look for evidence. Looking for evidence is you telling yourself, asking yourself questions like, imagine someone came to me right now and said, oh, I'm afraid of this dog. Or maybe I'm walking a child. I'm walking a child through a path and there is this big dog. What will you tell that child? What will you tell that person who is facing a similar fear? When you look at the evidence, whatever it is that you will tell that person, whatever it is that you will tell that child who wants to take injection and the child is scared, but you are an adult, you're also scared. So, put it to yourself. Use that evidence and talk to yourself. If I want to give someone an advice, so let me try using it myself. Alright, now the next thing is, don't try to be perfect. You know, the world is so imperfect, humans are so imperfect that some of us really want us to be perfect. I don't know how you are expecting perfection from an imperfect human. So please, do not expect yourself to be perfect. Life is full of ups and downs, rise and fall. So many things happen. So if you're afraid of you're rising today, tomorrow you're falling, just do your best. And don't expect yourself to be perfect. Don't expect that everybody will like you or everybody will accept you. Okay? So when you have a balanced view of yourself, when you have a balanced view of what you are able to achieve, what you're able to do, it will help you overcome your fear. Now you have to also visualize the happy place. You visualize, remember you imagine the worst, you also try to visualize a happy place. A happy place where you will come to terms with that thing, or at least even if it's not with that thing, when that fear comes, when that fear crushes you, you try to put yourself in a sweet scenario. You live in there, you stay there. Like if you're sick and you need to take an injection, so you imagine when you're strong enough and you're riding a horse, if you enjoy riding horses, You're riding a horse because you're strong now, so you live on that. You put your mind there so that you could be able to take that injection. So that is you visualizing a happy place. Now you also need to reward yourself very well. Anytime you overcome a fear, anytime you're able to overcome a certain task that you're afraid of, it doesn't mean that you overcame it today, the fear will not come again. Like sometimes I see myself strolling through that road that has beware of dogs, or the street or that compound, and I pass it and I see myself, oh, thank God, I'm confidently walking through that dog, sorry. So it doesn't mean that the next dog that I'll see, I won't be scared. Now that is it. But when you scale through the first fear, reward yourself. Tell yourself, wow, you've done something. You're proud of you. Be proud of yourself for overcoming a certain fear. Reward yourself. It could be take yourself out if it's a big fear, like a fear of speaking in public, and you finally spoke in a large crowd. Take yourself out. Buy yourself a drink. Give yourself something. Talk to yourself. Be happy about yourself. This will help you. Now, if the fear is something more than you could handle, then you have to talk to someone about it. A medical practitioner will help you, give you guidelines on how to follow. But these guidelines will help you practically on your own overcome any fear that could be a challenge to you right now. All right, guys, these are my tips for fear, for any thing you're afraid of, any human, any stage fright, anything. If you follow these steps seriously, it will help you overcome any fear. Right, please click the like button if you like the video, and share the videos, please. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you in my next video. Mwah.